What's up everyone, it's Bones here. In today's video, I'll be featuring yet another deck that got carded back to higher numbers via the Forbidden and Limited list. But before I begin, if you could happen to click on those thumbs up and subscribe buttons, it would be greatly appreciated, as it goes a long way in supporting the channel and shows me that you like content like this. Clicking on those notification bells would also mean a lot, as they notify you when I upload on the channel. I would also like to finish this by saying that because Dino Smash, we won't be doing any one-card combos, as I hope to show some of the power plays available to us through Litho amongst other cards, but we're going to start here by activating the Fossil Dig, getting ourselves the Oviraptor, then we can normal summon the Oviraptor, use its effect, which will allow us to get a search here. Because we have the Diagram, or Terraforming, or Set Rotation, anything that gets you to Diagram, we can get ourselves the baby, and then use the Diagram in order to pop the baby, getting ourselves the Lithosogem, as we're going to trigger the baby here, bringing out another baby, and then we're going to use the Ovi to pop the baby, bring back the baby, and then we're going to use the effect of the baby in order to bring out the baby. From here we're going to use the effect of the Lithosogem, and we're going to banish 3 from our opponent's deck, as we're going to trigger the 2 babies effect in order to get our Jurak along with our Misk, and now we can go into our Baron with the Lithosogem along with the Jurak, and then have a rank 4 play available with the 2 level 4 dinos, which will give us a Dolka. Now, as Lithosogem is newly off the list at 3, I wanted to show what you can do with it and the 2 different babies in hand. You can't do it if it's the 2 babies, you need Petite and Baby, but we're going to start here by activating the Litho, and then we can pop the 2 babies from our hand, as we'll banish 3 from our opponent's extra deck, and that's just really nuts, as this deck can really take out a lot of resources from your opponent, as we're going to get a pair of special summons here, getting ourselves the Oviraptor and a baby, as we're going to get the Ovi Search, and this will allow us to get Misk, as we're now going to activate the Misk from hand, make our dinosaurs unaffected, as we're going to use the Ovi, popping the baby, and then we can get back the Petite, use the baby's effect, and this will be able to get us a Jurak. From here we're going to go into our Baron, then use the Baron effect to pop the Petite, and then the Petite will be able to get us into a Pankratops, and then from here we can use the Misk, and the Misk will be able to banish 4 in order to get us the Giant Rex for rank 4 access as we go into a Dolka or a Lagia, but as far as the replays go, they're interchangeable. Now, another old friend of Dinos that got put at 3 was Destrudo, and as you saw, we're playing cards like Baron, which this deck didn't have access to way back when, and if you thought that the last 2 combos were nice, these combos are about to get much crazier, and we're going to start this one by activating the Lost World. From here we can then normal summon our Ovi, as we'll be able to use its effect along with the Lost World, and we'll get the token for our opponent, as we're going to send the Misk to the graveyard. Then we're going to use the effect of the Ovi, popping the token, but protecting it through Lost World, and then we can send the baby by destroying it from our deck, which will get us a Giant Rex. From here we'll be able to use the Destrudo, special summoning it out by paying half our life points, and then we'll go into the Yazi, and we're going to pop the token along with the Yazi in order to get us into Mare access through the Yazi's effect in the graveyard, and from here we'll now get our tokens, which will start setting up our board, as we're going to bring out all 3 tokens, and then from here we're going to go into Masquerena with 2 of them, and then we'll go into Garden Rose Flora, and if you're not familiar with this card, it takes 1 tuner plus 1 non-tuner monsters. You can target 1 card in the field zone, destroy it, then special summon it to its controller's field. 1 rose token, plant dark, level 2, attack 800, defense 800, in attack position. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except Synchro monsters. You can only use this effect of Flora once per turn. Then once per chain during your opponent's main phase, you can quick effect immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon using this card you control. And the plays that this gives you in Dinos is actually nuts, as you'll see momentarily, as we're going to activate the Misk here, and we'll get a baby, and the good thing about this is that not only will we be able to get the Giant Rex back, but during the end phase, the baby pops itself, and then we get another summon of a Dino, as we won't be linking away with it or anything. As you see, we go into a Lagia this time, and now we're just going to go and use the Flora, pop the Lost World, get ourselves a token, and now from here we're going to go to the end phase. The baby will destroy itself. Get yourself any other level 2 dino as we get the third copy of baby, and now we're going to go onto our opponent's turn. As you see a flash of the P.U.N.K package there, and we'll definitely see more of that in the next few replays, but the minute your opponent does anything that you want to respond to with the Flora, the cool thing here is that we have 2 level 2s along with a 5, and this will give us access to Trishula, and you'll be able to use it on your opponent's turn, banishing a card from hand, field, and potentially graveyard, while still having the Lagia along with the IP Masquerena. Now, for these next few combos where I'll be incorporating the P.U.N.K package, I will be using a fair amount of cards in hand, 3.5 combos for the most part, as Foxy Tune requires a send, and the Dino stuff you really want to see 2 or more cards to get those power boards going. But from here we're going to activate the E-Telly, and then we're going to bring out the Xiamen. The Xiamen can get us a search for a Foxy Tune, as we're going to use the Foxy Tune's effect, and this will allow us to pitch the extra card in hand as we're going to special summon out the Deerno, go into our Diabolantis. From here we can use the Diabolantis as Chainlink 1, the Deerno as Chainlink 2, getting back the Foxy Tune, and then from here we'll send the Lilyboria to our graveyard with the Diabolantis, go into our Sargus, use the Sargus effect as we'll be able to get ourselves the Discoloseum, and from here we're going to activate the Discoloseum, get ourselves the Regulus, and now we can protect our plays through the Regulus, as we still have Lost World and Ovi in hand that we're going to activate right now as we normal summon the Ovi after its activation. Then we're going to use Chainlink 1 Ovi, Chainlink 2 Lost World, as we're going to get the token on our opponent's board, get ourselves the Send for the Misk, as we're going to use the Ovi's effect to pop the token, then protect it with Lost World as we send and destroy the baby. The baby will get us a special summon of a Giant Rex, as we're now going to go into a Masquerena in order to get the 2 dinos in graveyard, as we're going to use the effect of Misk, getting us rank 4 access through the Giant Rex that gets banished along with what it summons. And from here we can go into our Lagia or Dolka, giving us an end board of IP Masquerena with the Regulus Omni Negate. The Dolka and the Sargus will be able to pop after using Dolka. This time around we'll still have E-Telly, but we're going to have Arco access, as we're going to start this play again with the E-Telly, and then from here we can use the effect of the Xiamen, which will allow us to get the Foxy Tune. We'll then use the Foxy Tune's effect, which will pitch the extra card as we get the Deer Note. We'll then go into our Diabolantis, use its effect along with the Deer Note to bring back the Foxy Tune, and the cool thing is that you also have Xiamen to bring back, which is conveniently a level 3 tuner and an earth monster, so you can use it for something like Lithocism or a Synchro 7 play, or even Synchro 10 depending on what you have on board. But we're going to go into the Sargus after sending our Lilyboreas. We're going to activate the Discoloseum, get ourselves the search for the Regulus so that we can protect our plays here, and then we're going to use the Misk effect from our hand, then use the effect of Misk as it'll be protected, and we'll get the special summon of Arco as we're going to use its effect, popping the baby in our hand, getting ourselves the double evolution pill, using the baby from our graveyard in order to get ourselves the Ovi, and then we can use the Ovi's effect, which will get us a search. And to this point we have not normal summoned, but before we do we have to link away the Sargus and the Arco into the Masquerena for space, and we're going to normal summon the baby here as we're going to use the effect of Ovi, and then we're going to pop the baby to bring back a baby, use the baby's effect in graveyard to bring back a Durak from our deck, as we're going to go into the Flora again, use the double evolution pill in order to get us our Tyranno, and then from here we'll be able to use the Flora's effect, popping the field spell, as this will give us a token. And now we have the Tyranno, the Regulus, the Masquerena, but on top of that, as shown previously, we also have the ability to Trishula on our opponent's turn, or you can go into a Synchro 7, whichever is more convenient for you, but this is just cool to have. Now this will be the final combo before getting into full hands with the P.U.N.K version of the deck, and I just want to show how even a awkward opening can kind of get you there, as we're going to start with the Foxy Tune, pitching the Giant Rex, bringing out the Zeoman. From here we can use the Zeoman's effect as we'll get ourselves the Ogre Dance. Then we can use the effect of the Double Evolution Pill to banish the Foxy Tune and the Giant Rex, which is also something else that's nice to note about this, that getting your P.U.N.K cards in graveyard make Double Evo Pill a lot easier to activate, and not needing to play anything like Link Karibo and stuff like that, as Ogre Dance is a card that you can easily pitch as well. But we're going to get the Giant Rex back to our field from its being banished. And then we're going to activate the Ogre Dance, getting ourselves the Deer Note. Now, at this point, there's a couple of things you can do. If your opponent had something on board, you can go into Yazi. But because this is a going first play, we're going to go and normal summon our Deer Note by tributing the Giant Rex, going into our Diabolantis, using the Deer Note as Chainlink 2, and from here we'll have rank 8 access, as we'll get the Sargus, getting ourselves the Regulus, and then we can bring out the Regulus as we give ourselves an Omni Negation along with the Tyranno to Book of Moon all of our opponent's monsters whenever we need to. Now, for the full hands, I'm going to do the same hand twice because there's a few different ways that you can play it, but I want to take different routes that I haven't shown through the combo videos just to show further the flexibility that this deck has. And the first route that we're going to go is we're going to start with the set rotation to play around the Imperm. Then we're going to use the E-Telly here as we'll be able to get ourselves into the P.U.N.K package. We'll then activate the Zeoman, use its effective search as we get the Foxy Tune. The Foxy Tune can pitch the Destrudo, which is always nice. We're going to bring out the Deer Note, and then we're going to go into the Omega. And from here we're going to use the Deer Note as Chainlink 2, bringing back the Zeoman this time around. We're going to banish one card from our opponent's hand for the first time. And we're now going to normal summon the Ovi here, and we'll be able to get our baby to our hand, as we'll now be able to activate the Diagram, and then use the Diagram's effect, which will pop the baby in our hand, and get us a Lithosygem. A new Chainlink, we'll be able to get the effect of baby, which will give us another baby. We can then use the Ovi, popping the baby, bringing back the baby, getting another special summon off the baby in the graveyard, as we're going to get the Misk. And from here we can use the Destrudo's effect. You can actually do this a little bit later, but I'm just going to use it all up so that we can activate the Lithosygem now, and we'll then be able to use the Zeoman along with the baby, and this will get us another body on board along with 3 banishes from our opponent's extra deck. And I'm just banishing random cards. We're going to use the baby's effect in our graveyard, getting ourselves the Jurak, and then from here we can go into the Trishula, as we'll be able to rip the second card out of their hand. And then from here we'll be able to go into the Fortress, which will rip out the third card out of their hand. And from here we're going to have the ability to use the Misk, use our Misk, bringing out a level 4, which we get the Giant Rex, and this will give us Synchro 7 access, as we're going to go into the Yazi. The Yazi can pop the field spell on our opponent's side of the field that we got them through a set rotation. Then we'll be able to use the Yazi to bring out the Mare, use the Mare's effect as we're going to bring out the 3 tokens. And then from here we'll be able to get into our IP Masquerena, using 2 of the tokens, as we're also going to go into the Flora. And then we'll be able to use the Flora's effect, popping the Diagram to get us a token. And then from here we'll end with Masquerena, 3 cards ripped out of our opponent's hand, and we also have the Flora. But the other cool thing here is that what you can do on your opponent's turn, because we don't have the extra level 2 Fortress, we're going to let our opponent do anything that we want to respond to. Then we'll use the Flora, and from here we'll get our Psyframe Lord Zeta, and this can be something else like one of the Black Roses. Because we're on low resources, and this is a full hand that we played, I like the idea of Zeta because you're just able to get it back to your board. But what this will give you essentially is just 2 disruptions after ripping 3 cards from your opponent's hand. Because after we banish a card with the Zeta, we still have the IP Masquerena with fodder for the Unicorn. Now this time around, instead of hand ripping, I want to show what you can do when you want to make a full board instead. And we're going to start with the set rotation here, as we're going to put the 2 field spells on board, activate the E-Telly, bring ourselves out the Zeoman, use the Zeoman's effect, which will get us a search for a Foxy Tune. Foxy Tune can send the Destrudo, which is always nice. Then from here we'll bring out the Deer Note, go into the Diabolantis with the 2 monsters, as we're going to use the Diabolantis Chainlink 1, the Deer Note Chainlink 2, as we'll get back the Foxy. We'll send the Lily Borea, go into our Sargus, And again, we're doing this just to protect our plays as we're going to bring out the Regulus now, equipping the Lilyboria to it as we're going to normal summon the Ovi, use the Ovi's effect. This will be able to get us a baby as we're going to activate the diagram on our board, use its effect as we're going to pop the baby in our hand, get ourselves the Litho. The baby will then be able to bring out another baby. We can then use the Ovi on board to pop the baby, then bring back the other baby in the graveyard, use the effect of baby in the graveyard as we're going to bring out a third copy of baby, and now we're going to link away into the Masquerena, go into our Lithosystem so that we can have the free space in order to bring out two bodies from the two babies that we pop, as we also banish 3 cards from our opponent's extra deck. And from here we're going to get our 2 special summons, as we're going to get the Jurak along with, I believe is the Misk, and yeah, we will get the Misk as we're going to go into our Baron now, use the effect of Destrudo, and this will give us Synchro 7 access as we're going to go into the Yazi, use the Yazi popping our opponent's field spell and itself. The Yazi will then be able to bring out the Mermere, use the Mermere's effect here as we're going to bring out 2 tokens, and then from here, use the Mermere's effect in order to bring out a token, and we only need 1 here as we're going to go into the Zeta. We can then use the effect of the Misk as we're going to banish 2, giving us a Petite, and with the Petite on board we can use the effect of the Baron to pop the Petite, and this will be able to get us into a Pankratops, giving us a bunch of disruptions through the Regulus Omni Negation, the Baron Omni Negation, Pankratops pop, Zeta, along with the IP Masquerena. But with all the combos out of the way, we can get onto the deck profile, and something I want to mention about both builds is that no matter how much you puff, you will never blow these bricks down. With that out of my chest, first noticeable thing here is that you'll see that we're not on the scrap package, and it's because when you play Destrudo, you have to commit extra resources to it, especially when you want to be able to play the Mermere, so it becomes an either-or situation. This is just a different way to play dinos that we used to have during like Spiral format. We're able to relive it in 2023, so I thought that was kind of cool. While you do play a lot of bricks, the one nice thing is that you do have a lot of consistency cards or just extenders overall. Also have the space to play going second cards, but that can also be kind of a kryptonite, as you can draw the Mermere, the Ultimate Conductor Tyrannos, the Litho, and stuff like that, and then with your going second card, it just becomes extremely unplayable. So it is understandable if you actually want to raise the count of this deck to like 45. I just wasn't sure what I would want to add in there. I felt that this list kind of had everything that is most required to play. You'll also see that we only have the 2 Lost World, and that's to keep it 3 field spells. We also have the Ancient Fairy Dragon in order to cycle through our field spells. Funny enough, you didn't see it in any of the combos. And Ancient Fairy Dragon in this particular build is more of a follow-up play than it is a combo piece. Makes it a flex option. The level 7s that you're really going to go into are the Zeta or any of the other level 7s that you can make along with the Yazi. As seen in the combo videos, I do think that Jurak gets a lot better with the 3 Litho because 9 plus 1 equals 10. It is pretty nice. I would also like to talk about the 1 Arco, and I know that this looks weird, but again, it was to keep it at 40. You could probably put this at 2 if you want to go to 45. We'll take a look at the Punk version of the deck now, and again, a multitude of bricks, mitigated by the fact that you have a lot of low resource cards you can use to get into your combos like Ogre Dance, E-Telly, Oviraptor, Fossil Dig, and so on. Having Destrudo as an extra extender is also nice, especially when you can go second and then just go into Yazi. As you can see from the extra deck with the Punk package, you are limited to what you can play in your Link monsters, and because we're only playing 1 Arco in 60, as you see a plethora of 1-ofs along with the 2 Ultimate Conductor Tyrannos, all I can think is that the 3 Little Pigs would be pleased, but we do get access to is just a amount of going second cards, have more space as we're also able to fit more stuff because we're playing 60, and we also don't see the bricks quote unquote as much as you would in a 40 card build. Another option that's a Synchro 7 I haven't gone over is Dawn Dragster, which is also a negate that you can make off of Flora. Card we'd like to play, but Aces Rough is Zeus. Does feel like it would be good in this deck. Outside of that, I think everything else is pretty self-explanatory, as long as you watch the combos. Now I'll just get onto the card by card. We have the 3 OVs, the 1 Beast Tyranno, the 1 Jurak, the 1 Arco, the 1 Giant Rex, the 1 Misk, the 1 P.U.N.K, the 2 Tyrannos, the 1 Petite, the 3 Baby, 2 Zealman, the 1 Deernote, the 3 Ogre Dance, 3 Foxy, the 1 Lily, the 2 Regulus, the 3 Destrudos, the 3 Litho, the 3 Nibirus, the 1 Mermare, the 2 Double Evo Pill, the 3 Prosperity, 3 Itelis, the 1 Set Rotation, Terraforming, Diagram, Discoliseum, the 2 Lost Worlds, Fossil Digs, 3 Eclipse, and 3 Evenly to round out the main deck. Onto the extra deck, we have the Baron, Trishula, Diabolantis, Omega, Zeta, Yazi, Ancient Fairy Dragon, Flora, Triss, Sargus, Lagia, Dolka, Palooza, Unicorn, and Masquerain. Round out this deck profile. For the pure build, we have the 3 Litho, the 3 OVs, the 1 Misk, the 1 P.U.N.K, the 2 Tyranno, the 3 Destrudo, the 1 Arco, the 1 Giant Rex, the 1 Jurak, the 1 Petite, the 3 Baby, the 3 Prosp, the 3 Fossil Dig, the 1 Mermare, the 3 Book of Eclipse, the 3 Evenly, the 2 Double Evo Pill, the 2 Lost World, the 1 Diagram, the 1 Terraforming, the 1 Set Rotation. Round out the main deck. Then onto the extra deck, have the Baron, the Trishula, the Yazi, the Zeta, Ancient Fairy Dragon, Flora, Fortress, Lagia, Dolka, Baguska, Appaloosa, Unicorn, Mask, Secure Gardna, and the Link Karibo. Round out this deck profile. Finally, before I finish the video, I'd also like to talk about a small Kashtira package which you can get away with. It is an extra disruption along with a free body that is interestingly also an Earth. Your Lithosigem, so that's kind of nice. So I also flashed the Fire True King, the P.U.N.K variant, but just don't feel it's worth playing it when there's only one diagram in my humble opinion. Anyways, if you all made it this far into the video, I thank you all so much for watching and I hope you enjoyed. If you have any suggestions, feel free to leave them down below. It's Bones, signing out.